Hospitality Live. Today I have Jason Sawitsky and Greg Hamm from VITO Oil Canada. We're going to talk about stuff that is not only close to my heart, kitchen safety. We're going to talk about the other things close to my heart, saving money.
Doesn't everybody love that?
Right? I thought you'd like that, Greg. We are live. We're on LinkedIn Live. We're on Periscope around the world. We're on YouTube Live. If you're watching this not on the live, or if you are watching live YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, all the usual stuff, so you can catch all of our shows. Gentlemen, thanks for coming on. It's been a long time coming. Greg, I see that you are on the road and there's snow behind you. Where are you at today?
I am up in beautiful Whistler.
Fantastic. And you guys have snow today in Saskatoon, Jay?
Winter is full-fledged here. Temperature isn't bad, but oh yeah, for sure. Nothing like Calgary area. You guys got dumped. I was there just not too long ago, as you know, but
That's right.
yeah, nowhere near as much as you folks.
Well, it's plus today, which is nice. So when we get together, we tend to have big, long conversations about everything to do with kitchens and safety and cleaning and all of these things. First off, I want to ask you, Jason, about how does a guy from Saskatoon end up getting a product from Germany?
It's been a fun few years for sure.
And furthermore, not only where do you get a product from Germany, how the heck do you get hooked up from a guy from Moncton? Of all places. This is, and to speak to that, this is a global community. I mean, this proves it.
For sure, yeah. I've had leads from trade shows globally, and it's always nice to be able to show the customer representation across the country, because we do have reps or sales reps or dealers, as Greg is, across the country. So we've been established in Canada for a little over 10 years now. Actually, when VITO first came to Canada about 12 years ago, it actually landed in Moncton first. A gentleman by the name of Ken Judson first brought VITO to Canada. And Ken was training me for a few years. I first started off in Saskatoon as a sales manager for VITO, as well as Manitoba. I became the dealer essentially for the 4 Western provinces for a few years. And in about 6 years, the opportunity came out to be able to buy the company. So our company now is the importer distributor for the entire country. So, and then it goes along with VITO, comes through our office, and we make sure that everything's followed through.
So let's talk about what VITO is. It's a filtration machine for fryer oil.
It's a unique one, and it's the only system in the world that does what it does, and a number of different aspects that are different compared to any other system on the market. It takes care of the fryer oil while the oil is still hot in the fryer in a 4.5-minute cycle. So right after a rush period, the operators can, when they start cleaning up after the mayhem's over, they can clean their oil. They can do actually a microfiltration. It takes all the impurities, the actual carbon out of the oil, so that day one quality that the operator has out of their fryer, they have that every rush period. Because the next time you go into the next service, they're starting with fresh oil. So they're maintaining that quality, that consistency of product, which every operator knows is key for building their customer base. And then, of course, when you keep the oil that clean, it's going to save you some money. The oil is going to last longer. Typically cuts usage by 40 to 50%. It's the only machine that does this in the world. Again, quite frankly, pretty happy in the position we're in, because we're the only operators in Canada that we bring them in. And again, it is a global market where it's in well over 100 countries, tens of thousands of machines sold worldwide. But yeah, manufactured in Germany now for 17, coming up on 18 years now. So yeah, well established and looking forward, because we're just really, as far as I'm concerned, getting started.
Well, I mean, the benefits alone, I mean, which is say 40 to 50%. I mean, that's the money talking right there. That's and the other side of this, of course, which is what we'll get into, Greg, as well, is the safety aspect of having this unit. Greg, you have an initiative going on in BC with WorkSafe BC, isn't that right?
Well, I've been trying to get through to the necessary people in WorkSafe BC to increase the awareness through that organization about the safety that this brings to kitchens. I would welcome any input or any comments anyone watching might have on just how we can kind of tackle that animal, because I really believe that that the days of people handling big pots of hot oil in kitchens and risking severe burns really need to be over. It's just unnecessary for staff to be risking injuries that way when there's an incredibly safe system like VITO. There's also built-in filtration systems. There's other safer ways to filter oil than having people handling big pots of hot oil. So that's something I would like to see happen sooner rather than later.
Well, it blows my mind that people are still doing it too. I mean, there's a place that I was just in recently, and saw them drain their oil into a large cauldron, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Big stew pot. Take it across the kitchen, down one hall, down another hall, out to the back alley, down the alley, and two guys dumping it into the bin. I mean, this was fresh hot oil.
They have two.
Cool.
I know, like that blows my mind. Like, all they have to do is set it aside and let it cool, and then dump it the next day or something, right? And then there's no risk. So I what I'm finding in the industry is it's just the way it's been done for so long that they just kind of see it as normal. And but it really isn't. I can't think of any other industry where that would be an acceptable practice. So a lot of what we do is education on safety and actually the kind of the whole gambit of fryer oil management in terms of filtration, and there's lots of other techniques and tips and things, strategies, people that we can help commercial kitchens utilize to get the best quality food, to get the best oil out of life out of their fryer oil, to make sure that their kitchens are safe. The sustainability benefit is awesome. In fact, the reason I'm up in Whistler right now is after I'm done this, I'm going to be going to the Fairmont Chateau Whistler to deliver 4 machines to them. And Jason, you can speak to how that came about and what was a driving force for this group of Fairmonts to come on board with us.
Yeah, for sure. Way back when, even before I started doing VITO, being definitely sustainable dump myself, getting calls and seeing it more and more in the industry as far as operators asking about and being concerned about sustainability. In particular, the Fairmonts, they actually have sustainability directors, people in their operations that's their job, that's their title. Look at the operations and see what they can do to reduce their footprint. It's phenomenal. And we're going to see more and more of that, of course, as time goes on. So one lady at Sabina got a hold of us not too long ago in Lake Louise and reached out. We had an initial visit, talked with their chefs, and it's about, for them, initially it was about sustainability. When I started talking about the cost savings and the product quality and everything that goes along with it, it was the chefs and everybody that worked there get on board very quickly. But for them, the initial footprint for them was about reducing their footprint. Also for the Canadian military, actually, truth be told, a few years ago, kudos to the D&D, is that's what really kicked it for them when we delivered to the majority of the bases in the country, was the fact that they were able to reduce their footprint and look at another means for, obviously, for funding. So it's nice. It's a good thing to see in times that they're reducing their footprint, and that's a motivating factor. Of course, the majority of operators that we deal with, it's about cost. Of course, they're in business to improve their bottom line, and VITO can definitely help with that. Recently did a video of one fast casual location in Lethbridge. On an annual basis, he's saving over $12,000 a year. $8,000 on oil, $4,000 on labor, and that's just on some hard costs that he's saving. Of course, product quality, consistency, and safety all have value as well, but hard to put a dollar value to that. So in that instance in particular, it was a 380% return on investment. I think the machine paid for itself 4 or 5 times in a year. Not too many things you're going to find that do that. So yeah, it was pretty exciting for us to be able to promote that, and looking forward to it, to getting a few more on board with that in particular group. So we'll talk more about that later. One thing is interesting, that as we get to more and more kitchens, and a standard that we come across at a lot of time is when they have 2 or 3 or 4 fryers in operation, it's a common term called cascading. They'll do their filtering at the end of the night, they clean their fryer out, and the fryer goes over one fryer over. And then at the end of one of those fryers every day is getting discarded. whether it's been too busy or it's been a slow week. There is no real consistency as far as why they're throwing it out. They just know there's cascading the fryer down every day. So a number of our recent operators that we've got on board, we're initially just getting to cascade every other day. So automatically they double their life, which is what customers usually see when they start microfiltering with VITO. They're 40 to 50% reduction in usage. Once we get their results achieved, we really want to do an education with them as far as what their oil quality is about, as opposed that way they can leave their fryer, that oil in that fryer until it's time to be discarded. So, because right now it's all based on conjecture as far as when it's time to throw out that oil if they're on a cascading process.
Right.
It's depending who's working, what the case is, how dark it is, what they've been cooking, and there's a lot of factors as far as what's going to affect the color of that oil. So as much as we can, we try and introduce a tool that we like to utilize. It's just an oil tester. Gives you readings, TPM, total polar molecules, all suspended sediments, the free fatty acids, carbons, acrylamides, everything floating in that oil. Gives you a standard of quality percentage. So I don't know what's going to show in the video, but it gives you green, yellow, and red.
Cool.
So basically when the oil is green, you're good. Yellow, start watching it. Red, it's time to be discarded. So it gives you a stand. That oil can stay in that fryer until it's time to be discarded. It's never being discarded too soon. And of course, your guests are never experiencing product not to your quality standards. So it's an important piece.
Not like the old days where we had the little vial, and we would go, it kind of looks like that. It's not dark. It's not dark enough yet.
Yeah, for sure.
We can get another week out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the main reasons why KFC in particular has gone away from the subjective idea of it to TPM, to an actual oil tester, is the biggest thing on that aspect of it is the lighting. Is it daylight? Is it ambient light? And then the subjective based on that individual. So again, the consistency isn't always there across the board. When you have national chain accounts, that's key.
So we talk about national chain accounts. I mean, you guys have mentioned Fairmont, KFC. Who are some other companies that are using the filtration system now? I mean, it's okay to name drop because everybody wants to get on a ride that everybody else is riding. So I always like to say, hey, you know what? Let's see who's already made a good decision.
For sure. Almost easier to say who's not using. I'm just kidding. But as far as whose door we haven't got into, and it varies throughout the country depending on what whether it's the head offices or individual franchisees. But of course, Boston Pizza's numerous locations, with a number of KFCs on board. Burger King is a very large player that have internationally recognized it. A number of the hotel groups. Greg, if you want to touch base on some of the recent success you've had in the Lower Mainland.
Sure. Well, if we're going to talk about BC and Western Canada, we first we have to talk about White Spot, who's been using our system chain wide, the corporate stores for I believe about 5-6 years now.
Good 6 years now, yeah.
Yeah. So White Spot, and I really love talking about White Spot because White Spot is an organization that as soon as you mention their name, industry-wide, White Spot is highly regarded and recognized and respected for their standards in just across the board. And so they were somewhat of an early adopter of our system and are a strong client for us. Recently, in the Greater Vancouver Lower Mainland market, the Joseph Richard Group came on board with us with 17 locations a few months ago. Many of their locations were doing what Jason was just describing, the cascading of moving the fryer, the oil from fryer to fryer, and every day, so they're busier locations like some of the S&L kitchens and Oak and Thorn pubs, some of their big busy locations. Prior to using the VITO system, they were dumping 1 or 2 fryers every single day.
Wow.
And so now with the VITO system, they're no longer transferring their oil. They've I encourage them to get away from that cascading system, and just leave the oil in each fryer for as long as it's good. And so I'm really impressed with this organization. Like, really, I want to give a big shout out to the JRG group. For the corporate culture that I've experienced working with them. Excuse me, to be honest, I didn't know exactly what I would encounter. 17 locations, some might be enthusiastic and some might be resistant to change. Sometimes when head office makes a change, some people just resist change, period.
Well,
That
that's
was
you
not
make
the
a good
case.
point there regarding the corporate culture. So, and I know that you guys have some tech that can ensure that the system is actually being used, so that what the company has bought and invested in is actually being utilized. You want to talk
Right.
about that a little bit?
Okay,
Yeah.
can we get to that just a second here? So,
Sure.
so just to finish up what the JRG group is experiencing is across the board, all locations are now telling me that instead of dumping 1 or 2 fryers every single day, they are getting about anywhere from 5 to 7 days out of their oil in each fryer now.
Wow.
So they're running about a 60% cost savings on their fryer oil usage while maintaining high standards for their foods. They're very, very happy people.
Well, if you do the math on that, that's even for a not high quality oil, maybe you're talking $20 a box from Costco if you're to
Yeah.
pick it up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was 10 years ago, so it's got to be 20, $25 a box now.
Yeah, it's in that range for sure. So so yeah, I mean, I'm not going to speak to their dollar numbers, but
Sure.
yeah, it's pretty easy to do the math.
You can do the math. Yeah.
You know, and every one of those, like, I sleep good at night knowing that in every one of those kitchens, there's no longer anyone handling hot oil.
Right.
You know, they're happy about their food quality. They're, you know, obviously they're reducing their carbon footprint in a really, really big way. And yeah, it's just a big win all the way around.
Fantastic. Jason, you want to talk to the tech on that end?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been looking forward to this coming along for quite a few years now. It's called VITO Connect. Essentially, our VITOs and our operators' locations are going to be connected wireless to their internet, and so there'll be reports on a regular basis to the operators, to the owners, wherever they want. We obviously can assign where the reports are going to as far as what their consistent oil savings are, and on a regular basis. And then, of course, more what the fail-safe on it is that if the machine doesn't get used, if a new staffing came in and they weren't trained properly, or something happened, maybe there was a service requirement on the machine, nobody got a hold of us, we don't know, we're going to get immediately notified if that machine is being parked or not being utilized on a consistent basis. So we can step in, find out what the issue is, and get them back on track. And then the operators are all the consistent quality that they're always going to be maintaining, and that return on investment that the operators are looking for is always being there, and we can guarantee results.
Well, that's the thing is can you as an operator ensure that your people are going to use it? Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So you can check in on even if you're not in the building, or if that's part of your daily routine. Every night that is happening, you can make sure that it actually happens, so the machine will report.
For sure. When the staff know that is there, that followed up, that ability is there, the likelihood that they're going to stray a little bit, not going to happen. So yeah, that's always an issue in the kitchen. If they're busy, they're getting slammed. I've worked a little bit in the kitchen. Obviously, Jason, you've had time getting the guys in the kitchen after getting slammed all day. If there's something that they can cut a corner on that they don't have to do, they're going to do that. So right. This check mark, no, if they know that they can be followed up with and that they can't BS a checklist, so to speak, then that's eliminated, and we can ensure that the machine's always being utilized to its full potential.
Well, I've actually been on a live demo with Greg in Vancouver and seen it work. I mean, it's not a long process. It's it happens fairly quickly, and like you guys say, I mean, you can do it a couple times a day just to make sure that you're extending your length and just the labor cost alone in you know, taking the oil out and, you know, the whole cleaning process. I know you and I were on the phone yesterday, Jason. We were talking about some steps that people aren't doing as well with actually keeping their fryers maintained. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, well, you know, we'll put this in and it's a great way to save your money. But if you're not properly maintaining the fryer itself, then there's no way to help you unless you're doing it. So what are some ways that operators who, you know, maybe don't know, or maybe they're not always in the kitchen, they're not in their maintaining it themselves? What are some ways that you can make sure that this is really going to be perfect for you?
Absolutely. So a common misconception, or something operators always have to keep in mind, that fryers are designed with a hot zone and a cool zone. So the larger particles that are really doing drop to the bottom of the fryer, the crud. That's what fryer filtering operators are always thinking that they need to worry about getting out. Drop the oil out, make sure you get every crumb from the bottom of the fryer, and put the oil back in. Quite frankly, with traditional filtering, the oil is still the same. With VITO, we're microfiltering the suspended sediment to carbon out. But the hot zone, the top part of where the food is actually being cooked, is where we have to focus our energy, because that's where the chemistry is happening, right? It's understandable. It's just little particles that are bouncing around in the heat, breaking down the bonds, the strength, the viscosity of the oil. So whatever is happening in that hot zone is what we have to focus on, and that's what VITO is meant to do. So anything else? So same thing, skimming. A lot of operators skimming any floating debris on a regular basis. Fish and chip places are fantastic for this. Religious, you need to be doing that on a really consistent basis. And of course, allowing the removing and stopping the buildup of the carbon along the outside, the darkness on the outside of the fryer, because that's always in the hot zone, and it's always degrading your oil and affecting your quality. So all those factors are contributing, and it's maintaining it. And benefit with VITO is we're microfiltering the carbon out. So once we get an operator down to stainless steel and a completely clean fryer on the sides in the hot zone, it's much easier to maintain, because that buildup doesn't happen nearly as fast. So another benefit of the VITO, another little labor saving there as well. But it's crucial, and it's a common misconception for sure.
Right. Again, if it's not just a one trick thing, you have to maintain your equipment on an ongoing basis as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just something I'd like to add to that. One of the things that I'm always speaking with operators about as well, when we go in and when I do training on the system, is the importance of the fryer oil temperature. Now, once in a while, I'll come across an operator who crank up those fryers to 370 or 375 because they think that's, I don't know what they think that's going to do, make it cook faster or something like that. But that's really a terrible thing to do to both your oil and your food. The deep fryer should never really be run higher than 350 Fahrenheit. And also, so that's one thing I try and encourage them to do. But also another thing is to don't trust the thermostat on the fryer. It's a very inaccurate kind of dial anyway. You kind of get, it should be, looks like it might be around 350. But those thermostats are very, very often out of calibration. So if you set that dial to what you think is 350, but that actually stick a thermometer in your oil, you can be getting anywhere from 330 to 370. I've seen that kind of range. So that's just another part of the educational process and support that we give our clients is all kinds of best practices for managing the fryer oil. And one of those critical things is to actually check your fryer temperatures with a thermometer, and adjust them accordingly. Make sure you're not cooking over 350. There's actually a significant health reason for that as well. Jason mentioned that the TPM tester is measuring the quality of the oil.
Right.
One of the things that's actually critical in fried food health is something called acrylamides. Now, acrylamides are something that are produced when we cook foods at high temperatures, and they are carcinogenic. And so we really want people to be aware of that when you cook at 350, the acrylamides are produced, but they're produced at a normal level. And the really good news is that the VITO actually removes the acrylamides. Okay, so the VITO system actually removes the acrylamides from your fryer oil, which is awesome. Now, if you're cooking at high temperatures higher than 350, the production of those acrylamides is accelerated at an exponential level. So it's really important for the health and the quality of the food and the life of your oil. Please don't cook over 350.
That's awesome advice, and a great reason why.
Absolutely.
Since we're live, we do get to answer some questions, which we don't often get to do.
Beauty.
All right.
Okay. Joshua had a question, and then he said he doesn't have a question. So
We must have answered it.
fair enough. We must have answered it. That's fine. So, Greg, I want to talk to you because I know we've had this conversation before, but I don't want to miss the opportunity to talk about your initiative and your charge on kitchen safety. It's such a big part of who you guys are as a company, and especially Greg in your region. You've been speaking with a gentleman there who Work BC has partnered with as well. Can you talk to us a little bit about that initiative and who the gentleman is?
Absolutely, love to. Sorry, I was a little distracted here. I'm just looking for a photo on my computer to show you guys. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Jason. If anyone is not aware, if you haven't heard of, if you haven't seen the video of the Matthew Bocott story, please, you need to look at this. If you're running commercial deep fryers in your kitchen, and you have people manually handling hot oil, please go to vitobc.com, click on why VITO, and go to the safety, and there's a video there called the Matthew Bocott story, and this really happened. So Matthew Bocott, when he was 19, he was working in a kitchen in Langley, and he was doing the old-fashioned manual handling big pot of hot oil, and the absolute worst possible thing happened. The floor was slippery. He slipped and he fell backwards, holding a pot of 370-degree oil. And it's just bone chilling when you see this. So WorkSafe BC and the BC Labor Heritage Foundation did this 7-minute mini documentary video interviewing Matthew, him explaining his experience. The reenactment of it, I have not seen one person yet who, when they watch that they don't wince and shudder and turn their face away, because it is just the most horrible thing you can imagine happening. Having
I've seen it, and exactly the same thing happened to me. I said, go ahead.
He nearly died. He nearly died. It was touch and go in emergency. They interview his mom talking about getting the call from emergency that her 19-year-old son went to work in a kitchen, and now he's in emergency, and we don't know if he's going to make it. He had first, second, and third degree burns to 43% of his body. He went through, horrible, excruciating pain and skin grafts and everything. Like, that's the worst case scenario. But that is literally what is being risked in thousands of kitchens every single day, every time someone is handling a big pot of hot oil with no lid on it, no safety gear, slippery floor. It's just an accident waiting to happen. So yeah, I'm really passionate about this, and I've met with Matthew recently and got to know him, and he's doing well now. But and he worked with WorkSafe BC for a number of years, telling his story, and he actually ended up having to give it up. It was just too hard to keep reliving the experience over and over again.
Oh yeah, and his poor mother. I mean,
yeah.
I'll speak to my experience having watched the video too. I mean, I think I texted you and just said, that just ripped my guts out.
Yes.
This poor woman at the end of the hall, listening to this poor boy just screaming in pain from having to do skin grafts. I mean, it's just stupid. I'm going to be blunt, having been in this industry for over 30 years. If you're watching this and you're in your kitchen, you're still hauling pots of hot oil, and you're having 19-year-olds or even 50-year-olds hauling hot oil across your kitchen. It's stupid. Stop it. Really.
Couldn't say it better myself.
Whether or not you go and use a system like VITO or whatever you do, stop this practice. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's dangerous, and it needs to stop. I mean, mom and pop operations are still doing it. larger operations are still doing it. There's an alternative. There's lots of alternatives, and there's no reason for this to keep on. I mean, I'm sure if we look at the statistics of burns from this going on, there's reason for this not to be an ongoing practice anymore.
You just feel for the kid too, because a burn, everybody knows a burn injury is, well, especially the initial recovery is a long, you can't even wrap your head around the amount of pain anybody went through, and it's an ongoing, it's forever. He has that, right?
Yeah. The
fact that this still happens is just mind boggling.
Well, and I mean, to go back to the name dropping, even the military, it doesn't do it anymore, right? I mean, this is the first place I heard about you guys, actually. I was having a conversation with a supplier about VITO oil and the filtration system, but also about the safety. The military uses your system, and these guys blow stuff up for a living. Right? You want to talk about putting people in danger? They said, no. We can blow people up and get them shot, but we're not going to have them carry hot oil anymore.
Well, good point, Jason.
Right?
Yeah. Spot on. Absolutely. You know what? One of the things that I sometimes say is that, in the Middle Ages, hot oil was a weapon.
Oh,
right?
Good point.
It's how they defended their castles.
Absolutely.
They'd pour hot oil on people.
That's it. That's exactly.
It's not pleasant stuff, no.
No, not at all.
But we're not getting away from it in the kitchen, so let's deal with it in the most safe way we can.
Well, the fact that you guys are getting out there, you've got a company and a product that's been around, tried and true, all around the world. I love that you're getting into bigger organizations and have been recognized for years. I love the opportunity to be able to talk about you guys and have you come on and just spread the word, not only about the safety end, but as a chef and a restaurant owner, that's not necessarily the place where we're looking to save money, and it's money on the table.
They don't realize.
Literally, it's money on the table. I mean, you guys have got, you can buy the machine, you can lease the machine. You've got fantastic programs where, anybody can get into this if you're a mom and pop shop or if you're a big chain. It's not like going and buying a Volkswagen.
Well, the machine actually, in a way, and it sounds like a corny sales pitch, but it is true, and I honestly feel this. The machine doesn't cost money. It's as soon as you start using the VITO, as soon as you put it in your fryer and press the button, it starts producing money for you. Because whether you're putting the money up front or we put you on a payment program so that the oil savings are covering the initial payments of the machine, irregardless, the machine produces cash, and definitely a benefit for any operator. And quite often, it is a system that no other system done before. So it's been years and years of getting operators on board, proving the results, getting testimonials, because they didn't even realize that these kind of savings could be seen in the fryers. They didn't know. Obviously, there are a lot of things going on within those four walls for an operator. The fryer is just part of the thing they have to keep doing. They got to keep changing it. They got to make sure they have clean oil and the regular procedures that go along with it. So the education and understanding, we're past the point of proving ourselves, I think, which is great. And so now we're just getting to the point of who's next. And it's a long list. Looking forward to it. Checking out a few more.
Absolutely. Well, one of my absolute favorite things to do, Jason, when I go into a kitchen and bring in the VITO machine, and whether it's a demonstration for someone who's just considering it, or whether it's a training session for the staff, the old saying, seeing is believing, is just remarkable. And seeing people's reactions when I show them, I don't know if you can see this well enough or not, but does that show up?
A little bit.
A bit.
Okay. Anyway, it's probably got a lot of glare.
That's better.
Yep.
That's better. Okay. So this VITO is the only system that will do this. This VITO is the only system that will take used fryer oil that's cloudy and take it back to absolute pure condition again. And so, whoops. So when people see this, when I go into kitchens and we do the filtration and I show them the before and after, they're just amazed and they're just thrilled that You know, like right from the ownership, management to the cooks on the line. It's you know, they're happy and they're smiling and they're excited about the fact that they're cooking. They know that they're cooking food in really clean oil,
Right.
that's going to taste good and is healthy, right? And then when they find out, oh, you mean I don't have to drop the fryers anymore at night? You know,
Icing on the cake.
you bet. It's just a big win all the way around, and it's a really fun thing to do.
Well, when you talk about not having to drop the fryers at the end of the night too, I mean, many regions in Canada, I mean, of course, we're being seen around the world, but in Canada, we're up to $15 an hour in many provinces for labor. So, and that's a controllable cost on some levels. But if you can reduce that cost for operators in addition to the cost of the oil itself, and oil is something, again, in your mindset, you're going, okay, well, that's just something that we use and we throw out. We use it and we throw out. So we put that money on the table, we use it and we throw it out. But the labor cost is I mean, that's
it's
20% or higher of your every dollar that comes in the door.
Yeah. Well, we can actually put a number to that. When I go through a benefits analysis with a client, we go through the process. We you know, they tell me how much they're paying for the oil, what their current consumption is, and then we actually calculate. Okay, these are the savings that you can expect. And so it varies greatly. You know, if it's a little mom and pop shop, you know, they might be saving you know, a few thousand, you know, $2,000-3,000 a year.
Sure.
But I've got many clients that, like Jason said, the testimonial video that he's got, where they're saving $12,000 a year. That's combined oil and labor. So yeah, I have many clients that are saving anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 to $12,000 a year, just in oil. And then the labor component of that is often $3,000 a year or more.
We should start tracking our highest savings operator, I think, Greg. I know I have everybody beat. That's why I say that. I won't say which location, but there's one KFC location that's annually saving about $23,000 a year in oil.
Wow.
You know, if somebody walked into your organization, for people watching, and said, "Hey, I'm going to save you $23,000 in rent," you'd go,
yeah.
"Where do I sign?"
Yeah.
Where I would save you $23,000 in labor, you'd say, "Where do I sign?" Or $23,000 in food cost, "Where do I sign?" Right? This makes sense.
Yeah. It's really a no-brainer. You know, this is just changing one process in your kitchen that gives you all these benefits. There's no downside to this, right?
Well, I think the comment that you made, Greg, about the health benefits too. I mean, everybody wants to have a health benefit to do with what they do, but your comment on filtering out carcinogens out of the oil itself, that's a given, right? So if you're taking that out, and you are, by doing that, you're making it a healthier product just by removing the carcinogens alone.
Absolutely.
And in addition to all of the other benefits, it's fantastic what you guys are doing. I've been a big proponent of your organization since Greg and I met a few years ago, and big fan of you guys. I love what you're doing. I love that you're available everywhere, that you're ever expanding, and it's awesome. So what's new and upcoming for you guys, and what do you want to say to the world today while we have you on here?
First, I just really appreciate the shout out, Jason. It's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to talking to you again in the future when my next travel is out in your neck of the woods. And yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing that we have coming up in the new year, as the machines start rolling out in our next orders for 2020, will be our Connect system. Can't stress enough the factor that we'll be able to go to our operators and of that guarantee on a regular basis on reports. It really is, because it's always a concern for the operator that their VITO just becomes a paperweight. And how are they gonna know? It's one thing they're gonna have to be worrying about. Well, when the staff know they have a checklist that they know that can be fudged, they sometimes will fudge those numbers. Sure. So this eliminates that possibility. So it's, again, a game changer for what we do. Looking forward to it, because numerous operators in the country are going to see benefits from it.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And
absolutely, very exciting. And I just want to explain how simple that Connect system is for the operator to use. Whenever the VITO machine is plugged into power, whenever it's turned on, it connects to the Wi-Fi in the building, right? And so then the owner, the operator, the manager, whoever, literally with their smartphone, they can just connect with the VITO machine when they're building, and it's going to give them a report. It's going to show them how many cycles the machine has done, and then there's actually a second stage to this, where the VITO machine will actually communicate with VITO in Germany, and Germany will actually generate reports that can be sent to the client on the usage of their machines. So whether
and the
it's
ongoing savings.
yeah, exactly. So whether it's an individual operator or a multi-unit organization, as a manager in a multi-unit organization, having that ability just to get a report generated and sent to you that's going to tell you exactly what's going on and how these machines are being used across the organization. That we're really expecting that to be a game changer for some of these people.
fantastic. That's awesome. Well, I hope you enjoy your day up in Whistler. It's
You bet.
looks like you've got a nice day. I'm not seeing too much snow, and the roads are probably clear going up there today. Thanks so much, Greg, always for joining and for your leading the charge on safe kitchens and everything that you do. Greg and I go way back, and Jason, thanks so much for coming on. It's always great to chat with you, and we're even big fans of the same beer. So, so next time you're in Calgary, we'll meet up again. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on. I love talking shop with you guys, and if you are in British Columbia, reach out to Greg Hamm. He's your man out there all over the province. The rest of the country is Jason. He's the head guy for Canada. And if you want to know more about the VITO oil systems, then these are the guys to contact. And they can help you with not only with your food costs, your labor costs, and help you find solutions to having a safer work environment within your kitchens. Thanks again, gentlemen.